MMORPGs. As you all know, playing an MMORPG is a long-term investment, and as such, so too are the bonds you'll likely make as you adventure in these worlds of fantasy. So it should come as no surprise that a common staple of the modern MMORPG is, of course, matrimony. Yes, indeed, marriage is a feature quite common in the MMO genre, for which Mabinogi is, of course, no exception.
How's it going, everybody? Mabinogi here in Emain Mecca in front of a beautiful church in the game. Now, you might be wondering why I'm standing here and why the intro of this video is a recap of another video that I did about weddings. And that's because this video is about weddings, only with a twist. I want to interview players that got married in the game and in real life, too. Basically, I want to cover people who've met their spouse in Mabinogi. And if you met your partner in Mabinogi, feel free to chime in the comments. But for now, these kind couples allowed me to interview them. And here is their story. Enjoy.
Tucky from the Mario server originally. I started playing Mabby in like 2009, so I'm a really old player. I originally saw Mabby as like an ad, but I was watching anime when I was like in middle school, and it was just one of those old school ads on the side, and I was like, that looks cool, so I clicked it. And then it was back before like anything outside of Tur was around, so the community was a lot more close and friendly, and I had a lot of like cool friends, but we would all die at level 20 from bears and stuff.
And I'm Vandy from the Mario server, Vandy Buick. I had found out about Mabinogi through, I think I played it a little bit, but I got back into it thanks to a friend of mine named Miharu-kun. We went through high school together, and he reintroduced me to the game. But yeah, we ended up meeting in, I think it was about probably 2019, 2020. I was an officer for the Guild Electrolytes, and she came in as a member and just continued talking and doing different events or dungeons or...
Start off as like, I was there for a year, and we were just like, I need somebody to run stuff with me. And it happened to be this person, as it does in Mabby. So, you know, that obviously ended up with us dating, because that's how those dungeon runs usually go.
And we ended up moving in with each other, I'd say about 2 years ago, 2.5 maybe years ago now already.
Yeah, and we still play Mabby.
Yeah, we still play Mabby on and off.
Awesome.
Alright, well, my name's Tanai, and this is Alice.
Alice and specifically were both from the server Tarlock when it existed, and
We met in a main Maka via a mutual friend of ours.
yes. We both joined, like she said, around G2. I was at the very beginning of G2. It was right when it had gone public. Only reason I didn't get to do closed beta is I didn't play MapleStory. I think that's why. So I was an extremely early adopter, and then I just started just collecting people and making friends. Like, will you be my friend? Will you be in my guild? Will you do this? Will you do that? And I had made a specific friend who just kind of orbited around, and one day they come up to me and they say, I have a friend that you need to meet. You're going to love them. And unbeknownst, they had said the same thing to her. And she said, well, bring, I'm just fishing in a Maimaka, just bring her over. And we engaged in this little conversation, and you know how sometimes they say that, like, when you know, you know?
Yeah.
I just immediately I'm putting a ring on this person. Barely knew her, and it's like, this specific one, like, this, here it is, like, it was like that.
Well, we got married in Mabinogi before you got to choose, so since she was an elf, we had to do it in Philia.
Mabby rules.
It would be, we've been married for 13 years.
13 years.
And as if this is not insane enough, we've managed to kind of figure out the real life location of where we would have met. And we're going to try to go there for one of our anniversaries on the banks in Ireland. That would be absolutely insane, because that's what it's about, because it was something that we were both such big fans of, not just Mabinogi itself, but just Celtic legend, storytelling, going going places, going everywhere, doing anything. Just that whole idea. I mean, it's why I'll go ahead and do that. That's why I have this.
That's
a
so
Celtic
cool.
knot
Of
ring.
a Celtic knot ring. That's so cool.
And it's something that's so precious and that's ingrained in both of us. And okay, I need to not cry, but it's
It's a-okay.
Definitely. I would love to do that. Like, I would even bring, we have little mood rings that we got for our like, anniversary. I would totally bring both of those and we can just be like, yep, Maddie married. IRL and in games. Messing around and killing things probably. Like, the rabbits for the Easter events that they always come out and you have to hit them with the baskets. I love those events, so I remember very specifically making him do it with me multiple times so I could get all of the prizes.
She makes me do the memory card events
Yeah.
for her, or try to help her with them
I'm
because
so bad at them.
she's terrible at them.
Or like I'll buy his stuff for him because I'm the girl, I do the colors.
I'm trying to explain this because each server had its own little culture, as you know.
Right.
And on Tarlock, weirdly enough, everyone was surprisingly tight-knit, that at the same time there was like this constant war of attrition over something. It was just always the most innocuous thing. It was very, very silly, very fun. And I was always sticking my nose in places where it didn't belong. And I'm aware of that. But it was a lot of fun to just sort of sit on the hill, literally, in tear, and just sort of just watch the world burn. And I would say that all the time. I'd be like in guild, I'm like, yeah, I'm just sitting in tear watching the world burn. Just watching these things happen. Not necessarily bad things, just these back and forth because everyone kind of knew each other.
Yeah.
And apparently, now I didn't know this till later on, apparently it was one of the lower populated servers.
Oh,
So that's how everyone knew everybody. And we were always in passing of someone.
I'd say it's probably still a pretty tight-knit community. I know back when I started, it was I'd say it was still tight-knit, but it was very cliquey. The original guild that I was a part of was infamous on the server for different reasons. One of the two infamous on Mari server. And just as kind of time passed and those kind of ended up phasing out and spreading out, more and more guilds popped up, which was probably nice since you could get over those misconceptions of just like the overarching bad rumors about the different places. But I'd say it's still pretty tight-knit now, maybe more so than it used to be, just because a lot of new Mobby players that I've introduced to the game or I see playing around, even if you're not in someone's guild, they'll still invite you to things where it used to be more like you stay with your guild. If someone else is in a different guild, try to poach them or, just don't talk to them. Where now it's like, so what if you're with another guild, you can still come into like our Discord servers or, come along with us on runs or things like that. So it's not so locked down, I'd say, anymore. So if anything, I think with all the server merges and everything else, it's kind of come into more of a community than it ever used to be.
We met at a amusement park because we found out that the amusement park was pretty much halfway between both of us. And at the time, we were just friends, and we were like, "Hey, let's meet up. It'd be really cool." And then from there, we started talking and eventually started dating, and then 13 years ago, got married.
She was from Maryland. I was at the time from Ohio, and so there was a lot of. I'm just gonna preface this and say I don't like flying. I will fly for this one.
That's too low.
Dating this one. And playing Maddie for a while. I do hope it sticks around for a good while. I really love the game. I would be sad if it disappeared. And as long as I can play it with him, I think that makes me happy.
I'd say fantasy life, especially when in regards to Mabinogi, would be more just being able to continue to play with friends and relationships I've forged over the years, be them in-game or out of game. A lot of my friends from high school or friends I've made in real life have played or still do play Mobby because of either myself or, like I mentioned, that friend before, Miharu-kun. Because of us, one of them's a constant player, and he's definitely passed me up with the new people I've invited. So it's just being able, I guess, to kind of let other worries melt away to an extent and just be able to have that camaraderie and just that kind of feeling of closeness and, family, I suppose.
Mabinogi was like kind of like my escape from all the hardships in my life. So it was really nice to have friends who I could just talk to and relate with, and then to have someone living relatively close by that I could connect with was really important for me, and I ended up finding the love of my life.
I could say something very similar. I found Mabinogi by complete accident during a really, rough time in my life. I was bored, I was lonely, and I was lacking a lot of inspiration. And I was able to find, friends and community, and then to, like I said, just kind of have that zing off of someone when I had never really felt that before, and just be like, yeah, everything's okay now. Everything's good from now on. We're okay now. And to be able to hold on to that feeling and have someone to, love and support and have it returned. I think that's something very important. And I think that's something that could be said for any relationship, any connection, friendship, anything. And how can I say this without sounding too mushy? It's something that should be able to be found anywhere, but having it someplace that is safe and open to it allows you to create it there and expand out from it. If that's making sense. It's everything. It's finding yourself. It's finding people to connect with. It's being able to experience your imagination and have it be real in some way. To know that there are certain things that are supposed to be a fantasy that actually are tangible. When you realize that the cities and places and stories are in some way real. And that those things are real. And while it is a fantasy, at the end of the day, parts of it aren't. And it doesn't always have to be a fantasy. And it's what you make of it and what you choose to do with that. I'm sorry.
For me, I think fantasy life is being able to express yourself in a way that's true to yourself.
Yes,
I love Mabinogi, and thank you for choosing us to interview as well.
We love Mabinogi. And that concludes our interviews. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and also I'd like to extend a warm thank you to these kind couples for sharing their Mabinogi story with us. I'd like to continue to collect stories and share people's experiences with Mabinogi, so look forward to more videos in the future. In the meantime, if you want to watch something else, please check the pinned comment for a video where I went to Korea to document Fantasy Party, Mabinogi's biggest offline celebration. This is like Campfire, but on steroids. You seriously won't want to miss it. Until then, I'm Mabinerd, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
You can look at his eyes until he sing. Yeah, you can look at his eyes. It ain't no game. Yeah, I can tell that he know a little something. Ain't nobody been up for with Duncan. He never made no assumptions. Already know. Better listen, cause Duncan don't follow no leader. Duncan the teacher. Duncan the teacher. Duncan don't follow.